Rally phase American turn 6. Wind changes. No wind changes. American unit attempts to auto-rally with a broken 7 morale. 12. Morale is not recovered and the squad becomes a half squad. American unit attempts to rally with the leader 8-1 with the -2 modifiers. Building, leader. 11-2, 9. The half squad does not recover morale. Japanese unit attempts to rally with the leader 8-0. These Japanese units with leaders do not suffer the effects of desperation morale. The modifier will be -1, building. 3-1, 2. The Japanese unit recovers morale. American mortar attempt to recover functionality. One. The mortar recovers functionality. Attempt to regain possession of the heavy machine gun with squads 5, 4, 6 needing a 5 or less to recover the weapon. Four. The squad recovers the machine gun. Prep fire phase. Fire group formed by the Americans in G2, F3 and E3 against the Japanese with the leader 10-1. This attack will have a total of 36 firepower. The modifier will be +3. The leader 8-1 will not participate. Nine +3, 12. 1 morale check and the machine gun loses its rate of fire. The hero's concealment marker should have already been eliminated in the attack suffered by this unit in the last turn. (11+1, 12). The Japanese leader is reduced to 9-0 and should undergo a dice roll to assess the possibility of a fatal wound. 11+1, 12. The Japanese squad suffers a reduction, becoming a half squad. Jim reduces the quality of this half squad because he forgot that the Japanese, when accompanied by a leader, have a morale increase of 1 point and, in this case, should not suffer the reduction because of the ELR. This will be modified later. Five +1, 6. The half squad passes. Eight +1, 9. Jim eliminates the hero not considering the increase caused by the presence of the Japanese leader. This will be corrected in the Japanese phase. Firing from the American stack with the leader 9-1 on the Japanese with the heavy machine gun with 12 firepower -1, leader, +3, adobe rubble. Seven +2, 9. Normal morale check. Five. The half squad passes. 3. The half crew passes. Firing from the half squad with the heavy machine gun on the Japanese stack with the leader 9-0. This firing will be with 12 firepower +3. 6 plus 3, 9. Normal morale check, and the machine gun loses its rate of fire. 5. The leader passes. 5. The Huff squad passes. 5. The second Huff squad passes. At this point, the smoke markers are eliminated. American fire group in P6 and D5 will fire on the Japanese squad with 16 firepower plus 2, wooden house. Double 3, 6, plus 2, 8. The units cover, and the firing will be analyzed in the 12 firepower column. 1 morale check, the machine gun loses its rate of fire. 9 plus 1, 10, and the Japanese unit suffers a reduction. Movement phase. Leader 8-1 will move toward the American units with broken morale in H6 through the shell hole in G2. In this hex, the Japanese attack is carried out by the Japanese with leader 9-0 and the light machine gun with 6 firepower minus 1, num, plus 1, shell hole, plus 1, wreck. (11 plus 1, 12, unsuccessful, and the machine gun loses its rate of fire. The leader moves toward the American units. The 2 residual fire marker is placed in the attacked hex. American leader 9-2 and squads 7-4-7 advance in an assault movement toward the wooden rubble hex in front of them. In this hex, this stack is attacked by the Japanese stack with the heavy machine gun with 8 firepower plus 2, wooden house. (5 plus 2, 7. 1 morale check and the machine gun maintains its rate of fire. 7 plus 1, 8. The leader passes. (8 minus 1, 7. The squad is pinned. Another shot with the machine gun's rate of fire on the American stack with 8 firepower plus 2. (8 plus 2, 10, unsuccessful, and the machine gun maintains its rate of fire. Another shot on the same stack with the machine gun's rate of fire at 8 firepower plus 2. 7 plus 2, 9. Pin test check, and the machine gun maintains its rate of fire. (9). The leader passes. Another shot with the machine gun at 8 firepower plus 2. 4 plus 2, 6. The Japanese unit suffers covering, and this attack will be carried out using the 6 firepower column, 1 morale check. Furthermore, the machine gun should lose its rate of fire. 9 plus 1, 10. The leader's morale is broken. (2). The squad passes and will suffer the effects of the heat of battle. This American unit is elite and will have a -1 modifier. (9 minus 1, 8). The unit will suffer battle hardening. Since this unit is elite, this unit will become fanatic. American stack moves in assault movement in C2. Half squad to W7. Staff with leader 70 moves to W7 via bypass V6 U6. Squad 6 to V7. Oops, this stack was in the rowing hex. Tank fires with the 105mm gun against the Japanese stack in the stone house 3 hexes away, with the base number of 8 to hit, +1, buttoned crew, +3, stone house, -1, acquisition. Seven plus 3, 10. The target is not hit and the acquisition marker becomes -2. Sherman moves to the American squad in P6 where it stops. Alternatives for Sherman movement are explored. Finally, Jing gives up moving this unit. Defensive fire phase. As the first action in this Japanese defensive phase, Jim will likely commit an illegal action, executing an attack from a fire group formed by Japanese units in C4 and C5 on the Americans in the rubble at E3. In the line of sight of the Japanese unit in C5 there is a roadblock in D5 which is a half-level obstacle, like walls. This blocks the line of sight between units of the same level separated by this hex, making this fire non-compliant with the rules because there is no such line of sight. In any case, this fire will be fired with 12 firepower +3, rubble. Jim did not consider the +2 modifier for the roadblock in this fire. Fortunately for the Americans, the result of 10 + 3, 13, was unsuccessful, as the Japanese, in addition to suffering the effects of covering, also lose the rate of fire of their machine guns. The Japanese heavy machine gun will fire another fire and will attack the Americans with the leader under the DM marker. This attack will occur with 8 firepower +2, rubble. Seven + 2, 9. Pin test check, and the machine gun loses rate of fire. The leader's morale is already broken and will not suffer the effects of this attack. Nine. The fanatic squad becomes pinned. Attack from the squad with the light machine gun on the Americans in open terrain. This fire will be with 6 firepower +1, Palm Grove. 6 + 1, 7, normal morale check, and the machine gun loses rate of fire. 4, the American squad passes, and a possible Japanese sniper activation should occur. Japanese fire group on the upper floor of Z7 will fire on the American stack with the leader 7-0. This attack will occur with 8 firepower +3, wooden rubble. 6 + 2, 8, normal morale check, and the machine guns lose rate of fire. 6, the leader passes. 6 again, The first Huff squad passes. 3. The second Huff squad passes. 9. The third Huff squad's morale is broken. Anti-aircraft cannon fire from 25mm on the Americans in the adobe rubble on the other side of the river. To carry out this attack, the cannon will have to move the cover up one side of the hex, adding the modifier of +1 to hit the target. The Japanese will attack with the infantry fire equivalent, IFE, with 12 firepower +1 for the change in the arc of cover, +3, adobe rubble. When the equivalent of infantry fire is used, the rate of fire is reduced by 1 point and they do not receive the acquisition, among other penalties. 8 + 4, 12, with no effect, and the cannon loses its rate of fire. Firing from the Japanese stack with the heavy machine gun on the American squad across the street. This firing will be done with 12 firepower +3, stone rubble. 5 + 3, 8, 1 morale check, and the machine guns maintain their rate of fire. 8 + 1, 9, and the American squad's morale is broken. Renew firing with the machine gun rate of fire. 6 + 3, 9, pin test check, and the machine guns maintain their rate of fire. Renew firing with the same parameters. 8 + 3, 11, unsuccessful, and the machine guns lose their rate of fire. Advancing fire phase. The first and final fire markers are removed from the board. Firing from the fire group formed by the Huff squads with the leader 7-0 and the squad 6 on the Japanese on the upper floor of Z7 with 6 firepower +2, wooden construction. 7 + 2, 9, unsuccessful. Let's check the progression from flame to embers in hex W4. 4, no progression. Flame progression to blaze in hex with palm grove. The modifier will be -1 due to environmental conditions. 5 - 1, 4, no progression. Fire extension from Y9 to X10 with the base number of 9 and the modifiers -2, non-adjacent structure, -1, environmental conditions, +1, favorable wind. 10 - 2, 8, no extension. Due to its modifiers, the possibility of fire progression from R3 to R2 is non-existent and will not be evaluated. Thus, we end this phase by removing the prep fire markers. Route phase. Leader with broken morale moves to leader 9 - 1. Squad from O5 to P5. Advance phase. Squad 6 moves to C3. One of squads 5, 4, 6 moves to the Fanatic squad while the other moves to squad 6. The Huff squads and the squad in the far right of the American advances 1 hex. Close combat phase. There is no close combat, and no unit qualifies to receive the concealment marker. We remove the pin marker and move on to the Japanese phase of the 6th turn. Rally phase of the Japanese phase of the 6th turn. Before we begin this phase, let's consider an issue. In the sword and fire module, when the wind changes, the weather becomes outcast. Under these conditions, whenever the dice roll is higher than 10, rain will begin. We will analyze the effects of these conditions if these conditions occur. Wind change. 6. No wind change. Dice roll, the result of which will determine whether the Japanese forces will be able to activate the demolition charges set on the bridges. For this to occur, the dice roll must be equal to or greater than the current phase. In other words, in this case, it is certain that the Japanese will be able to attempt to detonate one of the demolition charges. Let's follow ritual. 4. The Japanese will be able to attempt to activate one of the demolition charges. The Japanese have no units with broken morale. Let's move on to the American rally. American units rally attempt, with the leader 7-0, with the modifiers +4, DM, -1, rubble. Seven plus 3, 10. The American Huff squad fails to recover morale. The American leader attempts to rally with leader 9-1. The modifiers are +4, DM, -1, leader, -1, building. 11 plus 2, 13, unsuccessful. The American units attempt to rally with leader 8-1, with the modifiers -2, leader, rubble. 7-2, 5, the first Huff squad recovers morale. 8-2, 6, the second Huff squad recovers morale. Prep fire phase. As the first action in this phase, the Japanese will attempt to activate one of their demolition charges armed on the bridges. For this to be possible, the Japanese will need to pass a normal test check. 4. The Japanese will be able to detonate one of their demolition charges and choose the charge in Hex D11 that will attack the bridge with 36 firepower -3, which is the modifier that occurs when the demolition charges are detonated stone bridges. (9-3, 6). 1 KIA, and one of the bridge segments is destroyed. This is a great success for the Japanese forces as it adds 5 more victory points to their faction and, additionally, will prevent American forces from accessing the eastern sector of the scenario. With this success, the Japanese gain an advantage and will certainly be more cautious and will try to evade American attacks as much as possible. Firing with the Japanese heavy machine gun on the Americans on the other side of the river with 8 firepower +3, adobe rubble. Unsuccessful, and the machine gun breaks down. At this point, the battle will develop almost like a hand-to-hand fight, and to emulate this unique situation, we will zoom in on the battlefield. Japanese fire group attack formed by units in C4 and B5 with 12 firepower +2, wood and rubble. 6 + 2, 8, 1 morale check, and the machine gun maintains its rate of fire. 9 + 1, 10. The first squad has its morale above the ELR and will be reduced to squads 5, 4, 6 second class. Seven plus 1, 8. The second squad also has its morale broken. New fire using the heavy machine gun's rate of fire, now on the Americans in B3 with 8 firepower plus 2 wooden debris. 8 plus 2, 10, unsuccessful, and the machine gun loses its rate of fire. The Japanese forces choose not to launch any further attacks and will seek to protect their troops from American fire. Movement phase. Japanese stacking flees American fire and moves to E5. The Japanese leader will move and try to escape the attack of the American super fire group and moves in an assault movement towards the adobe warehouse. At this moment, the inevitable occurs and this unit is attacked by the American super fire group with 36 firepower plus 3, adobe warehouse. Three plus 3, 6. The result is a KIA. The Japanese leader is eliminated. The machine gun maintains its rate of fire, and the 12 residual fire marker is deposited on the attacked hex. The Japanese Huff squad attempts to recover the demolition charge. 5. The demolition charge is recovered by expending 1 movement factor. By spending this movement factor, this unit suffers a subsequent first fire from the American super group with 21 firepower plus 3, stone house. 12 plus 3, 15, without success, and the American machine gun becomes malfunctioning. An 8 residual fire marker is placed on the hex. Japanese heroes move to H6. Japanese Huff squad abandons the mortar and will move to E6. Huff crew moves up 1 level and will attempt to recover the important anti-tank cannon. In this movement, it suffers an attack from the American fire group, consisting of the American stack with the leader 9-1 and the squad 5-4-6. This fire will be made with a total of 16 firepower plus 2, wooden house, -1, FNUM. 5 plus 1, 6, 2 morale checks. Double 1. The Huff crew passes and will suffer the effects of the heat of battle. The Japanese have a +4 modifier on this dice roll. Seven plus 4, 11. In most nationalities this unit should surrender, but since these are Japanese forces, this unit becomes berserk. In this process of becoming berserk, this unit will have its morale raised to 10 and its movement capacity increased to 8 movement factors. Since this unit had already used 1 movement factor, it will use its 7 movement factors and move towards the Americans in B4. In this hex, it will suffer a point-blank attack from the American squad in B3 with 4 firepower -2, FFMO, FNUM. 6 -2, 4, 1 morale check. 3 plus 1, 4. The Japanese unit passes. Attack from the American squad in Y3 with 6 firepower -2, FFMO, FNUM. Double 3, 6, -2, 4. The squad undergoes covering, and the result will be analyzed in the 4 firepower column, which is 1 morale check. 9 plus 1, 10, and, as the heroes are not pinned, the Japanese hero passes. The Americans will attempt a subsequent first fire, which is illegal for 3 reasons. The Japanese unit used only one movement factor to enter the current hex and, therefore, could only receive an attack from this American squad. There is a Japanese unit closer to the American squad that has precedence in this attack. This squad suffered the effects of covering and should have ended its participation in this phase. In any case, this attack will be carried out with 2 firepower -2, FFMO, FNUM. 9 -2, 7, unsuccessful. Japanese stack descends to ground level on the square in Z7 in assault movement. In this hex, it suffers an attack from the 2 American Huff squads with 6 firepower +3, stone square. Nine plus 3, 12, unsuccessful. Japanese squad abandons the mortar and moves to O9. 2 Japanese units to L6. Huff squad to M10. Huff crew abandons the machine gun and moves to M10. Defensive fire phase. Firing with the American heavy machine gun on the Japanese stack in the stone house. This shot will be with 8 firepower +3, stone house. Eight plus 3, 11, with no effect, and the machine gun loses its rate of fire. Firing from the tank with the 105mm cannon on the Japanese stack in the house with the Japanese heavy machine gun. At 3 hexes away, the base number to hit is 8 with the modifiers of +1, Burton crew, +3, stone house, -2, takeover. Three plus 2, 5. The house is hit and the unconcealed unit will be attacked for 20 firepower, while units under the concealment marker will be attacked for the equivalent of 8 firepower. 7. 2 morale checks for the crew and 1 morale check for the heroes. 7 plus 2, 9. The crew suffers a reduction. 6 plus 1, 7, the first hero passes. Nine plus 1, 10, the second hero is wounded. We are unsure whether this attack on the Japanese could cause the house to be turned into rubble. According to Rule B24.11, shots greater than or equal to 70mm can cause rubble to form if the result is a kill in action in the appropriate column of the infantry fire table, as long as it is adjusted for the area target type, which did not occur in this case. Since no further attacks will be made, we will remove the first and final fire markers and proceed to advancing fire phase. The Berserk unit will attack the Americans in the adjacent hex. This fire will be with 1 firepower +2, wood rubble. Three plus 2, 5, pin test check, and an attempt will be made to activate the American sniper. 7. The first squad is pinned. 9. The second squad is also pinned. 'Rout Route phase. The American units will head toward the house at A2. The first squad follows this path using 5 movement factors. The second squad follows the same path, expending an additional movement factor to enter the house due to overstacking with 1 squad equivalent above the limit of 3 squads. Advance phase. Stacking from E6 to E5. Japanese heroes stop under the shell hole. Huff crew to L6. The Japanese Huff squad responsible for activating the demolition charge on the bridge moves in that direction. Squad to O10. Huff crews to the trench. Crew abandons the cannon and heads to the same trench. Crew with the light machine gun and squad to K5. Oops, we forgot to evaluate the progression of the fires. During this evaluation, the situation changed only in hex W6 where the flame becomes embers in the house. Close combat phase. There is no close combat. Some Japanese units that qualify will gain the concealment marker. Some Japanese units that qualify will gain the concealment marker and we can proceed to the rally phase of the American phase of the 7th turn. Alright friends, at the end of this 6th turn, we'll conclude this episode. The Japanese made significant progress this turn, gaining another 5 points with the destruction of another bridge over the Pasig River, while the Americans only managed 3 points with the elimination of a leader and 1 half crew. With only 3 turns remaining in this battle, the Japanese have already earned 31 victory points, compared to just 24 for the Americans. The situation becomes even more complicated because the Japanese have a strong chance of adding another 5 points by destroying another bridge, which is highly likely, as they will need to pass a check test in these 2 remaining phases. If successful, a dice roll of 9 or less, with the -3 modifier for the stone bridge, will secure these valuable points. Stay well, namaste.